Welcome to another edition of Bunker Office Hours, a weekly live show brought to you by the team at Bunker Labs, a national network of veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs dedicated to growing our ecosystem. I'm your host, the one and only IRON Mike Steadman, coming to you from the beautiful city of Newark, New Jersey, joined by my co-host Amy Morrison today, and our special guest, Nicaela Chinnaswamy. Did I get it right? Close?
Close. No, it's okay though. Nicaela Chinnaswamy. Yep. No, close. All good.
I apologize.
All
It's
good. Happens
so
all
many
the
names, but we're so excited to have you here today because we're going to be talking about Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Initiative. I was telling her before we went live, I've come across so many entrepreneurs that have participated in this program that I'm excited to finally have someone on to talk about it because, again, this is what this platform is for, to push out a lot of this information to the ecosystem because a lot of you out there might be unfamiliar with it. So we're going to have a great conversation around the program. But before we do that, I'm going to pass it over to Amy to share some updates from around the bunker.
Thanks, Mike. So this week, kind of similar to what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. So we've got the USAA pitch competition. Applications are still open through the end of June. So that we want growth stage companies in certain categories that align with USAA's initiatives and stuff. So you can check that out at bunkerlabs.org/USAA-pitch. And then last week's episode was all about that. So you can also check out last week's episode if you missed it. And then we also have CEO Circle applications open through the end of June. June, very busy for applications. And that is at bunkerlabs.org/CEO-circle. And then next week, we are coming to you live from the CEO Circle fly-in. So you'll get to hear more about that program next week before apps close. And then finally, we want to promote our blog. We've got a new blog up, a spotlight for Pride Month on Sebastian Juk. Coast Guard veteran and Veterans in Residence alumni. He is just an interesting person, and you should learn more about his contributions to the community and what's going on with him. So
shout out to Sebastian. Shout out to Sebastian. He's a good dude. I had a chance to hang out with him a couple times at a couple different events, and we just want to make sure we're creating space and allow people to be seen here at Bunker Labs. We serve such a plethora of entrepreneurs of all shades, colors, ethnicities, genders, and it's important to have agency so people see themselves reflected. So make sure you check out that blog. Also, spread the word about this pitch competition. I've got some exciting news coming out here in the next maybe month or so, God willing, but I can't stress enough how important that non-dilutive capital is, y'all. Early on, I won a $25,000 pitch competition, game changer, right? This USA pitch competition is another opportunity. And I've swung a lot and missed so many, got struck out so many times. But, man, I have hit a couple of those grants. And so I want to encourage you to make sure you're applying. And I might talk about this on a podcast because I know how you can get beat up and you can just feel like, man, I'm not applying anymore. But just keep swinging, keep swinging. It just comes with the territory. Now, without further ado, I'm excited to talk about this 10,000 Small Business Initiative, as well as some of these other initiatives you have going on at Goldman Sachs. And so I figured I'd go ahead and let you introduce yourself to our audience and what brings you here with us today.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. I'm Nicaela Chinnaswamy. I have been working on this program for almost 5 years now. It really is awesome. I have the coolest job. I get to just share and tell everyone, all business owners around the country, about this program. Our goal really is to educate on what this program can offer, which is what I hope to do today, and how it can help small business owners around the country. So that might be an offering for yourself, or someone you know, or just kind of to spread the word in that regard. So I will start without further ado and share a couple slides, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. Can everyone see that okay?
We can.
Okay, perfect. Just to start, so just going to run through kind of who we are, where we offer the program, what the program is, and then, of course, the impact it can help on businesses and how to apply, and then happy to answer any questions after that. So just to start on kind of how the program is built and the partners involved. So as you mentioned, of course, Goldman Sachs, the foundation, is the funding partner on this program. They are the ones who have made this program possible around the country. In 2009, after the recession, they really saw the need and their responsibility to help small business owners. And so they started this through the foundation. So we, of course, work with the bank side as well. But it really is a philanthropic effort by the Goldman Sachs Foundation. And so when they wanted to start the program, they were looking for who would be the best to educate small business owners. And they partnered with Babson College, which is a college right outside of Boston, Massachusetts, but is the leading entrepreneurial school in the country for the last 26 years. So really, they knew everything about kind of how to help small business owners in that regard. But they specifically worked with the Goldman Sachs Foundation to build the curriculum of this program. So it's unique, exclusive to small business owners who take this program. If you were a average, undergrad or graduate student at Babson, you couldn't even take these classes. They're built specifically for small business owners by Babson, and with that in mind. So it really is a unique program in that sense. And then we work with ICIC as well, and we partner with hundreds of different small business resources around the country in order to really spread the word about the program as well, and share about it so we can reach as many small business owners as possible. So that's just kind of how and who is involved in the program. But what is the program is probably what brought you here the most. It's kind of in three parts: business education, pathways to capital, and business support services. And what we mean by that is the whole time you are in the program, it's about 100 hours of online and in-person curriculum in which you're building an actionable growth plan for your business. So it's going to have components of marketing. You're going to go deep dive into your financials, all different components, but it all is going to culminate to that growth plan. So a tangible example of that, I would say, is if you know for your business, you need to delegate to a COO that you need to hire in 3 years, let's say, you would put that in the plan. And then what is the funding you're going to need for that role? When that role comes on, what is that going to take off your plate or shift other roles within your business? Things like that. How will that change kind of your marketing? Anything like that. It's all connected. So the program is really holistic in a sense to help small business owners in all different facets of their small business. We even do we have a module called You Are the Leader, where you even look at like self-leadership and how your leadership style might affect your small business and the employees you manage. So it really is holistic in that sense. And it's not necessarily a theoretical program. It's much more actionable. So even when you're in the classroom, we have like round tables. And so not everyone's staring straight up at the lecturer. It's meant to be conversing. You're going to learn as much from your peers and other small business owners in the program as you will from faculty. But as I mentioned, that all culminates, and we were working on the entire time in the 14-week program, is a 5-year growth plan for your business. So that's a tangible thing you're going to walk away with from the program. And then pathways to capital. So in this sense, the program is entirely free. There's no cost to it. But we do kind of focus on 3 different modules that are financial based. You can understand the finances of your business to start, and then understand different funding opportunities. Maybe your business is primed for a loan. Maybe it's primed for a line of credit, kind of understanding that in that regard. And then after you graduate, through Goldman, we have several CDFI partners around the country that we can connect you with if you're looking to get that kind of funding. And
Let's
then
talk.
Yeah,
I was going to say CDFIs, for those unfamiliar, they stand for Community Development Financial Institutions. So these are alternative sources of funding that really cater to small business owners, particularly those micro business owners. They do have relationships with your community banks and banks all across the country. So you still have to go through an underwriting process. They just have a lot more flexible terms. And so I'm excited to see this on here, because we know from our experience in the bunker that preparing people for success to even receive these loans is super important.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. Yeah. And what most people I didn't even realize before starting this work is a lot of times you'll see a big, news article like Goldman Sachs gives $500 million to small businesses or something like that. But they actually use these CDFIs to get that money to small business owners. So they will put it into different CDFI partners who then have that responsibility. And exactly like Mike said, have different kind of lending terms than if you were to lend from someone like Goldman directly. So it can be a great way to, in a sense, get that funding on a larger scale, but to you directly. So definitely in that regard. Yeah. And then lastly, business support services. So you do get a business advisor the entire time you're in the program. They'll work with you. We say they are an advisor, not a consultant, in the sense that they're not going to give you the answers. They're not going to say you have to do this for your business or you have to do that, or they're going to ask the questions that help you find the answers you're looking for and guide you through the entire program and putting that growth plan together, every step in that regard. And then we also have world-renowned faculty members. We work with 20 community colleges around the country. We work with Babson. We also work with hundreds of professionals as well who are just experts in their field. So in the program, you'd have a lead faculty member who would guide you through all of the classes, but we also have what we call module faculty who are experts in each one of the classes, because it's hard to have someone who is an expert in marketing and as well an expert CPA or in finances. So we rely on different individuals for that, but we do have a lead faculty member to guide you the entire time. All of this culminates together. We're trying to help you increase your revenues for your business, create more jobs in your businesses. And in turn, both of those we feel can help you support your community even more in that regard. So that's kind of the goal of this program and the overall, just to highlight, I know a lot of you from around the country, kind of our national cohort in particular. So this really allows anyone around the country to attend the program, and you do about 12 weeks online, and then you go to a 4-day stay in person in New York at Goldman Sachs. We do cover the cost of flights, hotel, all of that for all meals while you're there. So again, the goal is this program, there's no tuition, there's no cost of this program for anyone. And that cohort is about 160. So it is a really unique group of individuals we're looking for around the country in that regard. And what's cool about the program too is we are industry agnostic. So we have about half service-based, half product-based businesses, but we really do look for as many different kinds of businesses as possible. We've had everything from dog walking businesses to bakeries to we've even had some farms to marketing agencies, kind of different consulting and all different and everything in between. And that's what we want. That's part of what my job is, to build really diverse cohorts of all different kinds of people and business owners of different experiences, because it will only add to and create a more robust cohort of peers. And then I know I mentioned kind of a couple of different modules. This is just a layout of all the different topics. So as you can see here, there's different, you start with kind of, planning some growth ideas for your business. And then we dive more into financials. And then the middle of the cohort, you are the leader and it's the people. Those are some of our graduates' favorite modules, where you get to dive into your own leadership style and how that affects kind of leading your organization, as well as it's the people, which is a lot of HR, kind of hiring, a lot of those hot button topics, as the last couple of years have been tricky around that area, before diving into marketing and then operations and processes, and then kind of finalizing that growth plan in the last couple modules. Happy to share too if anyone's interested. I'll share contact information at the end, but an exact schedule that tells when each week of these classes would be. You spend about a week on each one of these topics, and there's a couple weeks in between to like work on some assignments and things like that. That gives it like the full 14 weeks in that regard. Just to dive into a little bit more too on the growth plan. I know I have talked about this a couple of times and mentioned it a lot, but just to highlight what this is. I know a lot of people are familiar with a business plan, most likely. That's probably something you had to write in the beginning of your business or to get financing. And then you probably like put it in a drawer and haven't seen it in a few years or something like that. And so growth plan is a little bit different for that. It's meant to be more of a living document. That allows you kind of plan out the growth of your business, but you also can make changes. We actually use an online software called Live Plan to build your growth plan in the program, so that it is very easy to like move things around or change things. Obviously, things will happen. We had graduates in 2019 that definitely didn't plan for the pandemic, but then felt like that plan allowed them to make those adjustments and pivot so much easier because they had it all laid out in that regard. So it allows kind of that personal plan for yourself for the next 5 years. Some people, they want to take a step back from their business in the next 5 years. They want it to be more passive income or run itself. Just, of course, can be part of your plan, as well as, maybe financial goals or employee goals you might have for your business as well, can all go into that growth plan to help you plan out the next 5 years and really stimulating that growth and tactical implementation for your business. And then just kind of some details on, why this program, kind of how can it help you? I mentioned a couple of times, we really are trying to help you increase revenues for your business, which everybody wants, as well as add and create more jobs. Small businesses really are the future. You know, there's so many different industries that someone can be involved in if they're involved in small business. And so providing jobs to small businesses can really help every community. And we really do believe that. So we see just in our graduates, we do track our graduates and survey them 6, 18, and 30 months after graduation. So that's how we can get these really great statistics to see that just after our program, 54% of businesses add jobs, 73% increase revenues, and we have a 98% graduation rate. So I think that really speaks to the community that is formed in the program as well. One of my favorite statistics, in addition to what's on this slide, is that 85% of our business owners do business together after this program. So I think that really kind of speaks to the community we're talking about as well. The secret sauce that kind of we're building in the program is the people, for sure, in that regard. And so just to kind of sum up some of the things that I mentioned in terms of kind of what you could expect from the program and also what we're looking for, a lot of questions I get asked is, you know, why should I apply, or what would make me a good fit for this program? And I feel like this lays it out best. So we really want to share with you that this program definitely is no cost to you, that it can help you drive growth in your business, you know, kind of if you feel like you've been plateauing or anything like that, or kind of need help in the next step. A lot of times, some of the things I hear every day are, I need the space to work on my business instead of in my business to help me. So it kind of pulls business owners in that regard, or I need kind of I've reached the max of the knowledge I know. I need to know what I don't know now, you know, or I have a passion. I had an amazing brownie mix that made me start my bakery, and that was my passion for my business. But now I'm realizing I don't understand my profit and loss statement and need help in that. So all things we hear every day, completely valid, and things our program can help with, in addition to being a small business owner can be really lonely too. And so that community of peers can provide you just support. You kind of have somebody to call on a Tuesday when you say, you know what, I'm having this problem with this employee, and have you ever hit this before, or something like that. Things that you don't necessarily want to share with a board or your employees, but you need kind of advice and want someone who's been through it to talk to. So that can be really, really great. And then our commitment is definitely, you know, the class schedule is built definitely with business owners in mind. We know that your time is one of your most valuable commodities. So we're definitely not trying to waste it. But we built the class schedule intentionally. So it's offered 2 different sessions on Mondays and Fridays that you do have to attend in the week. But then a lot of it is assignments and different meetings outside that are more flexible. So, and then of course that 4-day stay is built long in advance, so you know when that can be, so you can plan that intentionally. And as I mentioned too, the program is very applicable. It's not meant to be theoretical. We have lots of times someone will attend a class and then that next day implement a piece of that into their business. And that is great. We love to see that in that regard for our smart business owners. And then kind of what are we looking for from you? What makes a great candidate? Kind of what are we hoping for everyone? And how do we select those who are selected for the program? And so definitely kind of we do try to make the class schedule as convenient as possible, but we do want participation from everyone, and 100% attendance, so you can really get the most out of it. This program is definitely what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. So we want to be upfront about that. We offer it multiple times a year. So if a cohort in particular, the schedule doesn't work for you, you can take the next schedule or something like that. We can definitely make a fit there. And we want to add peers really intentionally to this group and find those who want to be part of this group, want to network with their other small business owners in the program and be part of that, and want to grow their businesses too. Definitely, you know, it's totally fine if you want to sell your business in 10 years and retire. We welcome that. But this program definitely in the next 5 years is planning a growth plan for your business. And that growth plan is part of the program as well as that final deliverable that's due in order to graduate and become an alumni of our program and get access to our really great alumni network, which has all different kinds of offerings as well. We actually had a summit in Washington, D.C. last summer in July of 2022, where we brought 3,000 small business owners together from around the country. We had them meet with all their local representatives in Congress to really talk about the challenges they were facing in their small businesses right now, and have that firsthand, as well as a full day of kind of conference and speakers. And so really cool opportunities that our alumni get as being graduates of this program. And then lastly, we ask, as your participation is to complete the survey 6, 18, and 30 months. You saw the slide that I just shared that had those stats, and that is how we get those. So we like to say just right from up front to be part of the program all the way through in that regard. I just have a couple more. I swear I'm almost there, but
no, you're good.
Yeah, just for criteria, if you're wondering if you're a good fit for the program and kind of who we're looking for. So we are looking for owners or co-owners of their business this can be different breakdowns of ownership. There's certain different ownership structures we've seen, but the reason being, if you're an employee of the business, you can't necessarily make decisions on behalf of the business and the growth of the future. So we're looking for someone with that decision-making ability on behalf of the business. That you've been in operation for at least 2 years, just because our program doesn't necessarily focus on kind of starting a business or that initial stage. It definitely is for that next stage of growth. And so to make sure in that regard, that you have revenues above $75,000, does not have to be profitable, anything like that, just that you have kind of that incoming cash flow. And then you have 2 employees. This does include yourself. So really that you have 1 other person, partially because we want you to have some support in your business while you're going through the program. We definitely don't want your business to suffer as a result of you attending the program. That would be the opposite of what we're trying to do. So we want to make sure that you have someone else in the business who can support you. We do count part-time, contractors, temporary, all in that number too. So it doesn't have to be full-time in that regard. And then lastly, the desire to grow and create jobs, which I hope makes sense off of everything that I've talked about today. But if you like what you've seen here, I have put on here, and we'll definitely send it out. But the application is 2 parts. Part 1 just takes about 5 minutes. You can do it right now on 10ksbapply.com. We just ask for general information about your business, employees, things like that. And then as long as you meet those criteria that I just showed, we move you forward to part 2, which is more in-depth, kind of short answer questions, some financial documents that you would actually need for class if you're selected, and then a 30-minute interview, because we want to talk to you. We want to talk to you about your business. We want to see you understand kind of what you hope for in this program and make sure it's a good fit both ways, that what you're looking for, the program can offer, and what and hope in that regard. So I will just leave contact information here, but I'm also happy to take down slides because I know that can be annoying to look at them the whole time and just chat with you, Mike, and answer any questions. Yeah.
No, that was great. I appreciate you actually having the slides too. Super helpful for our viewers. Do have a couple questions for you. Nonprofit organizations, are they eligible to apply?
Yes, definitely. Yes, exactly. We do we've had lots of nonprofits attend. Great, can be really great, especially because there's actually a portion in one of our classes about kind of having the mission of your business, and nonprofits can really add to that. So we definitely have had nonprofits attend and welcome them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other question I have for you, you all have been doing this for quite some time, even before the pandemic. I have to imagine you have some really good data on best practices for small business owners. Can you share some of the insights that you've learned just doing this program and all the different small business owners you've supported?
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's so hard to pick one. I'm like, but I think having a network is number one, having peers, and peers that are outside your industry too is really important. We hear, some, depending on the industry you're in, some are really supportive and great, but finding other peers outside can really help you just change your way of thinking and find solutions to new ideas. So I think that is definitely number one. That I can think of. Number 2, I would say, is understanding the financials of your business. I know that's really scary to a lot of people, but so important for you to best speak on your business, make, key performance indicators on your business, and kind of plan for the future. It really is important. It can be scary, but so worth it to see in the long run. We've had business owners attend our program who have then fired their accountant or bookkeeper the next day because they realized that they can do this on their own, and maybe that person wasn't really serving them either. So it can be a really, really important part of your business for sure. So I'd say those are probably my top 2. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you say to the entrepreneur that's already overwhelmed? They got brain fatigue, right? They're barely paying themselves, if anything. And now you want them to carve out some time to participate in this program.
100%. Very good question. We get asked all the time. I think, again, a twofold answer. I'd say it's kind of like Apple. You can't buy the stock from 10 years ago. So buy it today because it's going to pay off. But I'd also say if you want to make more time for your family, for things outside of your business, if you feel like your business is running your life, this program can help with that. It can help you work on your business more instead of in your business. How do you plan for you to be more kind of on the sidelines of your business and running it and not in it? It really is a great way to kind of reset that, because it's hard to have those opportunities for that kind of a reset. But I know a lot of our businesses have come wanting that, have come exhausted. So I would only say that your time will definitely be worth it to plan and to make those adjustments in your life. So many of our business owners say after they graduate, they have way more time, way more self-sufficient kind of in their business than before. So we've never had somebody say that wasn't worth the time. I'll say it, never, or that was a waste or anything like that. Only the opposite. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of improving your business acumen. Programs like this are great opportunity to do so. And the fact that you're working with Babson College, which is the number one, I think, entrepreneurial MBA program in the country. They have a really strong they're really good at small businesses. Let me say this, because I know a lot of times small business owners can get frustrated because they participate in programs and they tend to be more focused on technology startups and raising venture capital. Doesn't sound like that's this. It sounds like y'all are helping them with the blocking and tackling of the day-to-day, setting a strategic vision for themselves. And like you said, understanding their numbers, setting their KPIs, and really feeling more confident in their ability to run their business and not have it run them.
Definitely. Completely. Yeah, no, exactly. There's amazing graduates. And the other unique part is because the network has grown so big, we're at we're over 13,600 alumni at this point of this program. That kind of builds the foundation in the program. But if you want to take it in another direction, like you mentioned, if you want to kind of venture capital from there, or do there's somebody who has done it in our network. There's somebody who can provide advice or add to that after. So that's also the really cool part about the program is you just get this really amazing foundation that lets you scale and go from wherever you want from there. Definitely.
So we're going to go ahead and transition to book recommendations. And while we do, if you have any questions for us while we're here to talk about this program, feel free to go ahead and drop it in the chat. Do you have a book rec for our viewers today?
I do, and I'm a little worried this is overused, but I will say, because it does have a military reference, one of my favorite books that I think of every morning when I get up is Make Your Bed. It's the speech about how if you make your bed, the first thing when you get up, you will just have a more productive day. Not very long book. I think it's like 100 pages, so it's short because it was a graduation speech, so it is short. But that is one of my favorites. It really has. I was given it about 7 years ago now, and reread it like once a year just to kind of remind myself how to be the best, I guess, and how to be my best self. So yeah.
So as I sit here on live with my bed not made, I'm feeling guilty. But I'm familiar with the
sport too. I swear. Yeah.
I'm familiar with the speech. I think it's Admiral McRaven.
Exactly. Yep.
Definitely going to check that book out. Thanks for plugging that. My book recommendation is actually me just kind of sharing some behind the scenes for y'all. So it's called Secret Tradecraft of Elite Advisors by Covert Techniques for Remarkable Practice by David C. Baker. And I do business advising for Iona University. I also have a coaching business called Flawless Acceleration. And so I'm always trying to practice my craft and learn best practices. And that's why one of the reasons I was asking you before we went live, what are some of the trends that you're seeing? Because it's grind out there, right? It's hard. And you've got so many different business owners, all have different challenges. And so how can I bring the most valuable to them? So this is me upping my craft. If you have a consultant practice out there, or you're interested in being a business advisor one day, highly, highly, highly recommend this book. I love these little easy reads. I can highlight, I can rip them up. But this is one of those books you don't just read once too. It's one of the books you read over and over again. I've already listened to it on Audible, had to go ahead and get the hard copy because I'm at the point now, y'all, where it's not just about reading. It's actually about implementing the stuff that I'm implementing the material. And so I have to reread books over and over, take notes and stuff, etc. So as we close out here, any final words of encouragement you want to leave our listeners with that are on the edge about applying for these programs?
I would say just apply. I've seen a couple questions kind of on criteria, and this program is welcome to everyone, not just veterans. Yes, to answer that question exactly. So if you're even thinking about it, the application just takes 5 minutes. Just put it in. That way we can talk to you, can answer. You're in our network, getting updates, things like that. So it is open to all. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. Be sure to include the link in the chat. I'll also plug it on the Transition Podcast, as well as some of these other clients and stuff that I'm working with. And as we close out here, I want to encourage you all, make sure you subscribe and are listening to the Transition Podcast. I'm getting phenomenal feedback. People are messaging me all the time. They're shooting emails. You don't have to go at it alone. One of the reasons I like audio is to make you feel supported, because we know not everyone is in these New York City, in these metropolitan areas in general, but you have a voice to listen to. You have some resources. So make sure you tune into that. I'm going to be recording an episode this week on morning routines. Similar, like you said, make your bed. There's a way to get ahead of the day, not be on the offense, not be on the defense all the time. And it really starts with your morning routine, but also your evening routine to make sure you can show up your best selves. And As an entrepreneur, it's easy to quit taking care of yourself. It's easy to get beat up mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I want to prevent that from happening. So be sure to check out the Transition Podcast this week. It's always a pleasure to have you all tuning in with us. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors for the Transition Podcast, MetLife Foundation, for making it possible. Until next time, everyone, peace, love, and have a great rest of your week.